Hi guys, it's Jacob from StringBuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being a music journalism site, links are in the description down below. And we have a brand new song review for you today, and it's the latest track by the Chainsmokers featuring Coldplay, and that's Something Just Like This. So I'm going to refer to the original article as I usually do for these videos, so I hope you enjoy. So at this point, it's no secret that I'm not a huge fan of the Chainsmokers, mostly down to oversaturation admittedly, but I just find they recycle music so lazily, and that each song just sort of molds into one really. When it comes to Coldplay, they are fine, and I find their recent material just fine, but nothing more, just functional really. It's hardly a collaboration I had too much hope for, or even anticipation for, but nonetheless, shall we see what I thought of it? Well, I thought it was okay, and I do think it's a step up from what we've heard from the Chainsmokers fairly recently, but it left it a little bit too late for me. They did their usual thing of quiet verse, pre-chorus, electric chorus, breakdown, and rinse, repeat, you know, the usual formulaic garbage. But they actually threw in some interesting tones and timbres towards the end of the track that added so much more. I think Coldplay as a group had a strong influence on the creation of the final chorus, as we had these glistening guitars and interesting pads working together to create a really fun texture and an exciting texture too. It's just a shame the rest of the track is so dull. Production wise, the track is exactly the same as what we've already really heard by the Chainsmokers in their discography. We've got some sub bass here and there that is pretty quiet, but then that is pushed into being something slightly distorted, but I still felt that the low end was a little bit plain, which is like many of their other tracks as well. Even when they did try to vary things up here, it just was still very mundane and dull. The pads are completely forgettable, carrying nothing interesting or exciting at all, and if I'm honest, it was even more lackluster than Setting Fires, and I cite the synths in that song and the pads in particular in that song for being some of the most boring pads of last year. Moving on, then as usual, we've got this sort of strange synth tone to lead that electronic breakdown after the chorus, but again, it just wasn't interesting or exciting. It was just different for the heck of being different, and the song suffers from a lack of individuality, and this is showcased through very bland and simplified production, sucking the life out of each element, making everything sound exactly the same. When it comes to the musicality of this track, there are some strong parts and some which I found a little bit weak. I do think that Chris Martin fits into a track like this, and his voice does suit a track like this, but I found his vocal performance very boring and monotonous. I just found his melodies genuinely quite dull. The progressions are all functional and create a sense of momentum, which I did enjoy, but again, it was just missing in significance and excitement, really sort of making your blood pump. Moving on to the stabby piano, I enjoyed what it was being played, but the velocity was off for me, and it needed to be much harsher and punchier. I mean, if you're going to have a stabby piano in the verses, I think it was, make it a little bit more noticeable, make it actually drive the song a little bit more. Otherwise, it's just this annoying sort of pulsating thing in the background, and again, they could have utilized that a little bit more. It's funny that I always slate the Chainsmokers for never incorporating a proper bridge or middle eighth section into their songs, but I felt like they tried so hard this time around to do that, but they just couldn't resist the urge, or the stereotypical urge, to just repeat the chorus once more with some quieter dynamics and lead into that final climax chorus, just doing the same thing as they usually do. I mean, they tried, but again, we got the same recycled nonsense. I do have a problem with people saying that this song is so much like Roses, because that's a pretty stupid statement, because all of their songs sound the same anyway. But I will say that I did enjoy that final chorus, and it did have an almost anthemic impact to it, but like I said, the track just didn't build enough in order for that climax to really give you that much of a payoff. So there is potential there. There are good moments that they just didn't capitalize on. Lyrically, the song is an absolute snooze fest, and it's more of your functional, soppy, sappy rubbish we are used to hearing right now. It's not bad, but I can't remember any words outside of the hook, which kind of reminds me of every other Chainsmokers song. So all in all, a very average track that is neither good or bad. I think there are positive elements there, which I'd like to hear more of in the future, but I doubt we'll ever even hear them again. So I gave it a G rating of 5 out of 10. This song will be famous and popular, so why do you even care about this review? So if you like this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.